can tell by the title, today I'm going to talk about my psoriasis. If you don't know what psoriasis is basically either few or a lot of very itchy cuts over your body. And I just really want to share my experience. Like I said, a few things have happened over the last few days and today, and I just feel like it's important to talk about these kind of topics that not a lot of people tend to talk about, because I could really do with watching some videos like this one. So that's what I'm doing today. The whole point of this video is basically me just talking about my experience. If you also have psoriasis, then I would love to hear your experience in the comment section below. I also don't want this video to be too long and rambly, but I do want to get quite in depth with it all and make sure that I've covered everything I would like to talk about. So the first time that I kind of noticed that my skin was a little bit different to your average person was when I was maybe like 14, 15. I used to get quite bad dandruff, but dandruff that I could hide. I had quite a dark maroon blazer, and I remember just seeing little flakes of dandruff on that, and I didn't really think anything of it. And then I started to use Head and Shoulders, which I think most people with dandruff use, and it was absolutely horrific to my scalp. It used to burn, like it used to absolutely burn my scalp, and it would be so uncomfortable, but at the time it was the only thing that I felt could help me with my dandruff. I started off with like mousy brown hair, then I started having highlights throughout my hair because that was trendy, and I started gradually getting blonder and blonder and blonder throughout my whole hair. And then I remember when I used to dye my hair, I used to do it with like the home kits, which I still do now and I love them. I remember finding the odd kind of spot on my head, not spot as in a spot like this one on my chin, a spot as in like a place on my head where it would be excruciating, and it would feel like that part of my head was literally on fire. But I knew it kind of wasn't really from the hair dye because it was only in particular places. My mum started to notice that I had red kind of rashes throughout my head, and at this point, this is when my psoriasis really started, and I started to understand exactly what it was. My mum told me to go back to using Head and Shoulders, and I said I can't use that. It absolutely burns and stings. There is no way I'm using it. So I left it. I completely left it, just went back to using completely normal shampoo. Still had dandruff, still had itchy head, still had like these cuts that were now coming throughout my hair. It was just awful. My head was so uncomfortable. It was horrible. The other thing that I then started to notice with my psoriasis was the fact that my hair was actually falling out, and it was falling out quite quickly. Every time I brushed my hair, lumps of my hair would come out. My hair would just be all over the house, all over the carpet, and that in itself was embarrassing and obviously a worry and a stress that at 21, 22 I just really didn't need. I remember trying desperately to like Head and Shoulders, but that brand just didn't really work for me. It did help with dandruff, but I just couldn't shower with it. It was just so painful. So I left that brand. Now that I understand exactly what psoriasis is, to me dandruff and psoriasis are two completely different things. I think you can have a really severe case of dandruff, which is horrendous in its own sense, but I think you can also then have a bad case of psoriasis, and the two kind of link together, but to me they're two completely different things. You may have loads of dandruff, but you might not have psoriasis, but when you have psoriasis, I think dandruff kind of comes with it, if that makes any sense. That's how it was for me. Then it got to the point where I was super embarrassed about having psoriasis and dandruff, because you could obviously see it all over me. I was really worried about having it. I never had my hair up because you could just see all the dandruff in the back of my head. I then started to get quite a few patches of psoriasis at the bottom of my hairline, which then if I put my hair up is more visible. So I always just had my hair down, and a lot of people do say to me now, oh, you should have your hair up, you look nice with your hair up. But to me, I'm still like, I can't, because you're going to see my psoriasis on the back of my head, which I still do have, and the main bits of my psoriasis are on the back of my neck. After years of just kind of leaving it to do its own thing and hoping that it will kind of find its own balance, calm down and sort itself out, which isn't the case, I saw an advert on TV for a product called T-Gel. Now I rave about this product everywhere. So this is T-Gel. As you can see, I've used a lot of it, there's hardly anything left. To me, this is the best thing that I've ever tried for psoriasis. The disadvantages of this is it's more expensive than your average shampoo, and also it smells very strong, but I have gotten used to the scent of it now and I don't actually mind it. I quite like it. This is basically a really therapeutic shampoo if you have psoriasis, an itchy scalp, a dry scalp, whether you just have dandruff itself. It is so calming and not itchy is the best word for me to say. It is not itchy in the slightest, and I cannot live without this product. How I use this is I use this before my normal shampoo. So I use this and I rub it right into my head like you're in the hairdressers. I work it in, I make it all lovely and bubbly, lather it up, and then I wash it off, and then I do my shampoo and conditioner. This just is added to my routine. I don't use it instead of shampoo. I suppose you could, and I'm sure people out there do, but personally for me, I find it works if I use it as well as my shampoo. If I tip it, you might be able to see, it's kind of like a gel formula. It's quite hard to explain. When you squeeze it out and then you let go, it can suck it back up a little bit. It's such an awful way to describe it. This is excellent if you're looking for a product to use, whether you just have dandruff, or if you're like me and have psoriasis or a bad case of it, obviously on your hair, then definitely give this a go. Psoriasis for me was always in my hair. I never had an issue with it anywhere else on my body, and that was the thing that I wanted to make sure stayed the same. The last thing that I wanted was it to start appearing on my body. And then over the last 6 or 7 months, I want to say, my psoriasis has started to show up on my body, and that was just the point where I knew that something just, like, I don't know, it was just the thing that I really didn't want to happen, and it had happened. So now I have little blotches of psoriasis. I have it on my sides. They're not extremely visible, but they are, obviously, to me. When it's yourself, you feel like it's a lot worse than what it is, and I know people have much worse cases than this, but it's still not nice. So yeah, it started to show up on my sides. I had a few little bits on my leg, had a bit on my arm, which has just like naturally died down and gone. I've also been using this as a little bit of a body wash, which obviously isn't what it's meant for, it's a shampoo, but I've used it a little bit on my sides and I think it has slightly helped to calm it down. They're definitely not itchy, the little patches on my sides now. And then a few months ago, I went to a makeup event. It was the Makeup Revolution party. I went beforehand to get my nails done, and I had noticed for ages but didn't think anything of it. I noticed that on my actual nail, like the tip of my nail, the natural white bit of my nail, was quite far down my actual nail bed. And I get to the salon and the girl said to me straight away, "Oh, do you suffer with psoriasis?" And I was like, "How do you know?" She said, "I can tell because your actual nail isn't attached to the nail bed." Like, a little bit of it was, but majority of it had gone quite far down. And they sorted it out for me, did my nail extensions, kept them really short so I didn't catch my nail on anything, because if I caught it I could rip my whole natural nail off. So yeah, they're really, really good there, and I've had my nails done every 2 weeks since then. But she told me at the salon to pick up some tea tree oil, which I did. Literally, that's the second I came out of the store, I went straight and got some tea tree oil. I picked this up from Body Care, which is a really, really cheap shop for beauty stuff. I'm sure you can get more expensive versions of this, but this is just a herb garden tea tree essential oil. I got a cotton bud, dipped it in here so it would soak up the oil, and then I just ran the cotton bud like under my nail bed, and this has helped massively. I cannot even describe the difference. And today was actually the day that I had my acrylics taken off, and I wanted a French manicure because I didn't have that with my acrylics, because I kind of just kept going darker and darker and darker. But today she took off the acrylics, started to paint the white part, the white tip of my nail, and then started to go over it with a light pink, but you could slightly see the psoriasis still behind my nail, and it just got to a point where I was like, oh. I had completely forgot about my psoriasis, obviously, because I hadn't seen my natural nail for 2 months. So then she decided to come up with the ingenious idea of, instead of having a white tip, I now have a glitter tip, which has helped to hide my psoriasis. I'll do a little close-up, obviously, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You can see the tiny bit of psoriasis that I've still got, and you can see it in certain lights, but it's definitely helped to hide it. And the tea tree oil that I use has helped massively. There are now only a few nails where the psoriasis has come down a lot more than the others, but honestly the tea tree oil is the most amazing thing for nails I've ever tried. So to kind of round up where I'm at now with it, is I still have really bad psoriasis in my head and still on my sides, but the tea gel is definitely working for me. The tea tree oil is definitely working for me. I think it's quite important for people to share their personal experiences, as long as obviously they're comfortable with it. I don't like my psoriasis in the slightest. I'm very self-conscious about it, and if someone says to me, oh, you've got dandruff, I'm always like, no, it's psoriasis, because I feel like it doesn't sound as bad as dandruff. And it's more of a medical condition. It's okay in some sort of sense. At the same time, it shouldn't be like that, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to put it out there. If this video has helped just one person, then it is worth me sharing it all with you. Like I said, if there are any other products that you try, or home remedies, tips and tricks, anything like that, please leave them down below in the comment section for me and for anyone else watching this video.